Hey, we are hanging loose.
We are in California.
Right.
Monterey.
Might be more of a Hawaii thing, but either way, we're hanging loose.
I don't know. It's a surfer thing. I
Surfer
think.
thing.
So,
Okay. Yeah. So.
Actually, right down the street in Santa Cruz is essentially the birthplace of surfing.
Okay.
It's one of the most iconic spots in the world. I did a launch there years ago, and there's signs and plaques everywhere announcing California is the place for surfing.
Yeah, well, hang 10 with us here for day 2 of Mecum Monterey. It is Friday, August 16th, and Brian, we have something special.
Something's happening today.
Something big is happening today.
Really big. So big that my backdrop now is a giant black box. Is there something cool under there?
There is something very cool, and we have a very special announcement that's going to be made following Mecum in the morning, so be sure to tune in to mecum.com to see that or be here in person.
Or on Max.
Or on Max.
Or Max Live. This black cover is coming off, and I think everyone watching is going to be really shocked and really excited about what's under there. I tried to play with it last night, but I was told no, my hands were slapped. I tried to take some secret photos to tease, but that didn't happen either. But I am so excited. I could barely sleep. I got in extra early this morning just to stare at the black box.
To stare at the black. And to be clear, it is a very special consignment.
It is.
It's not it's not,
it's not just a random thing being there, just
like an art exhibit.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of like an art exhibit.
Is.
Once you guys see what it is, like, are you excited?
I am very excited, and I can't wait until we can go into detail on tomorrow's show.
We're going to give so much detail.
So much detail.
So much
detail. But it is it's very special, and you will want to tune in later today.
Right away. So right when live TV starts is when the reveal will happen. So make sure you get your breakfast, your coffee, ready to go.
Whatever you got.
10 a.m. sharp. The tarp comes off.
All right, well, let's talk about what's on today's schedule, Brian. Our daily rundown, we have 149 vehicles crossing the auction block here in Monterey. Those are coming from 3 collections. That contains 3 collections, and we have 8 pieces of road art.
I actually went and checked out some of the road art this morning because you know me.
I do.
And there is a Porsche Carrera luggage set.
That sounds like you.
Nice. It's so me, but I drive an Audi, so I don't know if I could buy it. But if you're someone that owns a Porsche, the leather is so soft. They didn't leave away any touch. It was just meticulously done.
Is there room for your shoes?
There is room for a couple pairs of Nikes. Of course, not my entire bedroom of shoes or room of shoes, but it's really nice. There's some really cool like toy cars or mini cars. But rolling off the block too, and I did try to pitch it to Sam the boss to see if like, hey, can Matt and Bree have those, and it was a no.
All right.
Apparently they have to go to a customer that buys them. But,
Details.
But maybe they'll let us drive them around too. E-bikes, Cybertrucks, Matt and Bree are just like in any vehicle. Let us rip.
Right.
Yeah, rip and dip and suit and root.
Suit and root.
Yeah.
Suit and root, as we talked about in yesterday's show. If you missed it, pull it up and watch to find out what suit and root refers to. But speaking of referring, you mentioned mini cars, which is a great segue.
I did that on purpose.
You did you?
Yeah.
That was very nice.
Yeah.
Something that happened earlier this week out here at the Monterey Peninsula was the Little Car Show. And I had the chance to attend and see it in person. This took place in downtown Pacific Grove. This year there was over 125 vehicles. 25 years and older is the stipulation, and they really want to feature multi-mark mini, micro, steam, electric, and arcane vehicles with 1,800 displacement or less from around the globe. And Brianna, I gotta say, this is one of my favorite events because it's just so dang charming and cute everywhere you look.
Are these street legal?
Yeah.
So you can drive them on the highway, on the road?
Correct, yeah.
All the safety features at a full size?
Well, I mean,
to an extent.
I mean, obviously a lot of these are classic, as you can see there. These are some of the great micro and mini cars from the 1950s, 60s, 70s. And actually, DP Kyle and I saw a Geo Metro.
So, a Geo Metro
from like
car.
the 90s. Well, from the 90s, remember those?
Yeah, yes, I do.
And it was
who wouldn't remember if you were alive in the 90s? Who wouldn't know what that is? Yeah.
But this is just one of the many great events here. I love going to it, and I always look forward to it just because, it's just so fun. There's a whole parking lot full of Mini Coopers, maybe one of the most iconic mini cars of all time.
Yes, true. I didn't even think about the fact that there is a car out there called a Mini.
Called the Mini.
Yeah.
Called the Mini. And then also something else that was happening just occurred last night here on site at the Hyatt Regency. We talk about just a lot of the boutique reveals and experiences, and
Right at our doorstep the other day.
right at our doorstep, the crew from Hennessy had a VIP reception, and they showcased one of their insane Venom F5 supercars. For those who are completely unaware, this is powered by a 6.6 liter twin turbo Fury V8 with over 1,800 horsepower and just about 1,200 pound-feet of torque. But I had a chance to get up close with this. I talked with one of their staff members about some of the specs, and these things are wild, Brian.
They are. I just, when you sent me the photo, I was like, okay, wow.
And
we'll have to talk about that later too, because I think you got confused at my response, but we'll talk about that later.
And you can see there that John Hennessy was in attendance as well, and looked like a great event, and just something here that happened right at our doorstep.
I'm glad you invited me to participate with you.
Yeah,
I appreciate the invitation.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I sent you a bunch of pics. It didn't happen.
It didn't happen. Yeah.
All right. Well, Brian, as we've talked about, Monterey is very special.
It's iconic.
The Mecum Monterey experience is something that you have to take in person. And I wanted to give our viewers a little bit of an understanding of why that is. And I went out and I put together a package, and here's what my overview looks like. In the course of Mecum's yearly schedule of holding auctions around the country, the Monterey event stands as a truly unique experience. Set against breathtaking views, delightful breezy temps, and a backdrop of automotive history and competition, Monterey exudes a distinct magic, a vibe unlike any other. As a highlight of Monterey Car Week, Mecum's 3-day event unfolds at the Hyatt Regency Monterey Hotel and Spa in Del Monte Golf Course, just a mile from the beach and the crashing Pacific waves. Upon arrival, guests, bidders, and spectators are greeted by the iconic Glass House, a first glimpse of some of the finest 7-figure cars set to cross the block. This year's incredible lineup features showstoppers like a 1936 Delahaye Type 135 Competition Court Teardrop Coupe, a 1967 Corvette L88, a 2005 Porsche Carrera GT, a 1966 Shelby 427 Cobra Roadster, and a 1969 Ford GT40 Lightweight. Inside the auction arena, familiar sights await, but just outside, the spectacle continues. The 17th and 18th fairways of the golf course are transformed into a stunning showcase of desirable vehicles. Under dreamy blue skies, you'll find standouts such as a Ferrari Enzo, an array of Lamborghini supercars, plus there are motorcycles and a wide range of road art offerings. With seating to take in the view and food vendors on hand, this is an event you must experience in person. Mecum Financial Services and Mecum Auto Transport are on site, making it easier than ever for bidders to secure their dream car and transport it back home to their garage. If you haven't made the trip to Northern California in mid-August to witness Mecum Monterey firsthand, it's an automotive experience you can't miss.
So I love the feature you did and how you talked about the Glass House. Is there a specific vehicle that has caught your eye in there?
Yeah, I really like the 427 Shelby Cobra, just the epitome of performance from a legendary name, Carroll Shelby. And we have two in there. We have a small block and a big block, but there's a lot of eye candy in there.
So since joining the Mecum family, I have fallen in love with the Mercedes Gold Wings. Like I don't know, I get fed all the content through Instagram. It's just like, Brown, you have to fall in love with them. And that silver gold wing in there is gorgeous. But we also have like a greenish mint color one that's here in the main auction block area. But I've become a gold wing fan. I've said it on live TV. If anyone wants to purchase me one, I will take it gladly. Yeah.
And we have two in there. We have a convertible and the coupe.
No, I got to
You want with the gold wing doors.
Those doors and the way that they look like an eagle coming to get you. And there's something just very powerful about that. And I have, I have a shy personality, Matt, and I think that car would really make me feel like,
Yeah.
a little extroverted, I guess.
Everyone I know thinks of you as an introvert.
Yeah,
so.
definitely. Yeah. But outside of that, like, I've now been at like 5 or 6 of our auctions. The way that we set up here on a golf course with the Pacific Ocean in the background and just being in Monterey, I have to say, guys, that Monterey's auction environment has been my favorite so far.
It's really something to take in, and that's why I wanted to kind of showcase what makes this auction different. Because as we travel around the country, Brian, Mecum does auctions all around the country, and this one really does have a unique vibe. It's very distinctly Mecum, but it's an elevated Mecum experience.
It is. There's an energy here that's different than what we would get at Florida or something else. It's just a very elegant, like uplifted, and just, I mean, look. How close do we usually get to vehicles when we have Mecum in the morning? Not this close.
Not this close.
Yeah, and actually, a good thing about the vehicle right behind us, and I know this is not on script today, but this vehicle is coming to Kissimmee. It's actually owned out of a collection out of Madison, Wisconsin. So there's about 40 cars and motorcycles that are going along with this car behind us. So maybe we could touch on that in the future, but I'm really excited just because we know some of the family and everything behind this collection, and I'm really excited to see that go off the block in Kissimmee.
Brian, did you know that retro is rad?
I mean, I think I coined that term.
Well, if it's not clear, if you look at what's happening here this week, you will see more and more that more and more 80s and 90s stuff is becoming very extremely popular with younger collectors. And we've got a little bit to report here that one of the other unique vehicles that's going to be here at Monterey is the Honda HPX. You can see it there on the screen. It has just been restored, and Honda is going to be entering it into the wedge-shaped concept cars and prototypes class at the Pebble Beach Concours happening on Sunday. But I gotta say, man, this thing is just so rad. I love it, and I think it just kind of speaks to how car culture is shifting towards newer vehicles.
I have a lot to say about this, but I really want to see it in person before I give my honest opinion on it. But yeah.
Okay.
But so you tied that into the 80s and 90s because that's era. Like, give me some context.
Sure.
Together for me.
So there wasn't a particular model year on this, but it did debut at the 1984 Turin Auto Show, and it indicated the company's intent to bring a mid-engine supercar to market. It is powered by a 2-liter dual overhead cam 24-valve V6, which was based on a Honda F2 racing engine. So it's just so interesting how it really kind of captures those 80s vibe. Man, I just look at the see it in profile.
I just want to put
there.
some leggings on and some jelly bracelets and crimp my hair and maybe pop your collar, and I think we'd be fit to ride this.
Yeah, we would.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other. Tubular.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Tubular. Man, we're hip.
I'm a child of the 80s.
You are, and I am too.
Yeah.
So. But anyway, so that will be here later this week at the Pebble Beach Concours. And something else that's happened, obviously a lot of our focus has been here on the Monterey Peninsula, but another big automotive event took place back in Michigan in Pontiac. Motor Trend presented their Roadkill Nights, powered by Dodge. This is an awesome event for muscle car enthusiasts. A big staple of that is, of course, drag racing. You can see it happening there. By the numbers, Motor Trend reports there was 40,000 people present there with 100 drag race competitors in Dodge Drift rides and the Dodge Hornet Rally rides. There was over 4,900 participants for that with 300 cruising cars. I've had the chance to attend this, Brianna. This is an awesome celebration of horsepower.
I was actually jealous, but it was my birthday weekend, so I wanted to spend it at home with Braden. But we were contemplating sending you out there, and then I signed you up for a boatload of activities out here in Monterey. And there's only one Matt.
There's only one Matt, but I will say I would not have been upset.
There's 2 Matts, but only 1 Matt Avery.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I will.
Matt and a hat.
Matt, I know.
Yeah.
We're gonna have 2 Matts and 2 hats coming
at
up,
some
but.
point.
I would not have been upset because this is an awesome event. It really is great happening there in Michigan, kind of the birthplace of classic American muscle. And Dodge also showcased the Charger Daytona RT and Scat Pack there on site. And Brian, there's A lot of discussion about this new platform because Dodge is going to be offering this with an electric powertrain, but they still want to give it some muscle. And so they showcase what they are referring to as the Fratzonic chambered exhaust. We have a clip of that. Let's play that. So Dodge has announced that this is the final performance character of the Dodge Charger Daytona's Fratzonic chambered exhaust. It's a patent-pending world's first system delivering a signature rumble in tactile sound wave output. Quote,
That's a lot.
It's a lot. There's more. Quote, shattering preconceptions of a typical battery electric vehicle. So essentially, Brown, what they're trying to do is that they're trying to give this electric version of the Charger some performance character. So, well said. They're trying to give, couldn't have said it better myself.
I'm a lyricist.
You are a lyricist. They're trying to give it some soul. I like the sound of it. I will say, I think it's kind of a neat concept. Ever since EVs have made their way to the marketplace, now 15 years on, automakers have always contemplated, do we give the car sound from a safety standpoint or from an experience standpoint? I think this might be one of the first successful rollouts of that type of system.
I couldn't agree more. That's something that I would say, like, from an EV perspective, from e-bikes and motorcycles and cars, is I love the sound of a vehicle, and when it doesn't have that, it just, I don't know, I don't feel the passion, the energy as much. So well done on that. But I have a quiz question for you. I'm going to throw this out here. Who was the manufacturer who produced the first electric vehicle?
Well, I would say it dates to the early 1900s.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say Cadillac, General Motors?
Henry Ford. He actually did it for his wife. So every year he would produce, so after it didn't really take off, right? Like back in the day, EVs, were hard to produce or whatever. Henry Ford would keep making cars for his wife, electric vehicles for his wife. I just dropped some knowledge on you.
I was not prepared for Fact Friday.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.
Thank you. That was good.
Yeah.
Very, very.
I knew something you didn't know.
You did. That's good. That's that's a great fact. And it'll be interesting to see that in person. I do like the look, and I gotta say, I like the sound. Let us know in the comments below. What are your thoughts? Again, it's gonna be interesting to see how the Dodge Muscle faithful respond. But
I think that's one of the things that you would see in like the forums is like people missing like an iconic sound or something to it. It also feels like there's more performance when you have a sound.
Right.
Yeah. Again, there's an emotion and there's something that like the sound of a vehicle gives you. So.
Yep. All right. Well, since today is Fact Friday or Education Friday, we have some more. We have another check-in with Matt Morvac.
The second Matt.
And he's got some more auction education for us. Here, take a look.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome back to Mecum Auctions. I'm Matt Morvac. It's our continuation of the Mecum experience. Now, what we're going to talk about to you today is the bid goes on portion of the auction. Now, let's say I'm in the auction crowd and I have a bidder's number and I want to buy a car and I actively bid on that car, but we don't meet the reserve. What we're going to do is we're going to explain to you what happens when the car does not meet the reserve and we buy a car via the bid goes on process. That last price on that sticker, and she's going to go ahead and put that on the windshield. So this car will go over to a bid goes on area outside where you can go over and you can look at those cars. I'm going to go over to the bid goes on area. Now I saw a Humvee, a 998 Humvee go across the block earlier today, and I think it had a $35,000 bid on it. I'm going to go over here and ask Steve, one of our bid goes on officials over here, and see what he can do. It looks like that was T59. Let's say I think T59 was that 89 Humvee.
High bid was $35,000. The seller is looking for $55,000.
So the seller's reserve is $55,000 on that Humvee. If I wanted to, let's say, I wanted to up that figure from 35 to, let's meet in the middle at $45,000. You would in turn call the owner and see if they would take that price, or you'd meet at a number in between there, something where you can work on behalf of both buyer and the seller. So he'd be kind of the middleman for the bid goes on process. Steve and all these gentlemen back here worked full time, and actually after hours after the auction, and even a day after most of these auctions to help put these deals together. A period of up to 21 days, Mecum has the access to sell these cars or put those deals together 21 days after the conclusion of the auction. So let's say I went home and maybe I thought about it, maybe talked to the bank, or I talked to mom, dad, or whoever I needed to talk to, maybe it might be a spouse, and say, honey, would you like to own a Humvee for $45,000? They could put that deal together. You just call Mecum Auctions. Not every car that runs across the block sells. Not every dream comes true, but going through the bid goes on process, we help make those bridges to make those dreams come true. That's what the bid goes on process is all about.
You know, that's something great too. Maybe you were caught, you're out in the, looking at a lot, or maybe you are watching from home and you realize that there's a vehicle that you wanted to buy that you missed and it didn't sell. You have 21 days to go, and make a bid at the bid goes on. So we have people here all the time, but you also can do it online. So again, if you're not here at the auction, you can still bid, whether it's live on the block, but also if you missed it and you see something, maybe it aired on Max or you watched a re-air, within 21 days, you can reach out to the team and make a bid and hopefully get, shipped to you or come and pick it up, whatever the case may be. But it's a great service.
A lot of sales are conducted through bid goes on. Obviously the auction block experience and the excitement, there's a lot of emphasis there. But as we identified, sometimes people aren't in the room or aren't there present, and that's where the bid goes on, as Matt spotlighted, that that's a great opportunity too when you come out. Even if something that you wanted had already crossed the block, track it down. If it didn't sell, reach out to one of our consignment agents. We typically at all of our auctions at least have one or multiple different locations for bid goes on where people can connect with agents and help make a deal happen.
It reminds me of that 19-year-old bidder that we've talked about a couple of times that we met at Florida Special. 2 of the vehicles she bought were actually from the bid goes on. She didn't raise her hand in time when she saw that Bronco roll off the block, and she didn't know about bid goes on. She happened to be walking by it, and then she found out she could still purchase that. So again, another success story because of the services that we offer at Mecum.
Another service that we offer here is Mecum Financial Services.
Oh, we know Bree loves talking about MFS.
MFS,
yes,
as we colloquially call it.
Yes.
MFS, and we have a package here with Lee detailing a little bit more about what goes on at MFS.
Hi, this is Lee Giannone from Mecum Finance. Wanted to let you know that there is a facility here at Mecum Auctions to help our customers buy these great cars. Like everything else that we do, we try and do everything from end to end, from applying for financing or a bidder registration to delivering a car to your driveway. So Mecum Finance is part of that mix, and it's very simple. We have a quick application process that's really geared towards buying these classic cars. And we will come back to you and say you are eligible for an amount and a rate, and it's just that simple. And as long as you're buying something that's street legal, we don't haggle about what the price on the block is, because you're the customer and that's the market. So we are happy to have you, and we are really pleased to be able to offer a substantial percentage of Mecum customers using our finance to buy these great cars. There's a few really easy ways to get started with Mecum Finance. You can go to the website, and there's a full application process there. We can do everything electronically, including signing your loan papers when you've made the decision to buy a car, and we've been able to work through all of the details of the application and the settlement process with you. But we can do everything remotely, so if you're out there somewhere in TV land or wherever, you can do this all online, or you can come right to one of our locations at the auction and we can work through the application and the settlement process with you here. We've tried to do this as simple as possible. It's quick, it's fast, it's very effective, and we have lots of folks who use it.
The excitement is here. It's getting loud here at Mecum Monterey on Friday. I think people are eagerly anticipating what's behind us and the coffee that Jeff just brought me.
Yep, it is definitely building excitement. But before we get to that, let's talk a little bit about the financial services that are offered on site. Another great opportunity for people who come out to be able to acquire the dream car that they want. And again, they can usually find Mecum Financial Services in the Mecum service station, which is usually very easy to find at every auction.
And at the office too, right? So
And at the
again,
office.
just like bid goes on, usually 2 locations. For this week, it is by the service station and at the office. They have 2 setups, but they're also conveniently located by the big black box, right? So go get your financing, come watch a reveal. It's going to be an action-packed, powerful day.
Well said. It is
Yeah.
going to be an action-packed, powerful day. We are close to signing off, but as we always do, we want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments
What they think it is.
what you think is going to be unveiled here in just a couple minutes. Let us know. Give us a year, make, model. Give us your best guess of what you think potentially could be in the black box.
Actually, and if you get it right, we'll send you a Mecum hat. How about that?
How about that?
Yeah.
But it'll be like a baseball hat, not your very
No,
trendy
not,
snow
no,
hat.
not my snow
Okay,
cap. Because
yeah.
I'm not going to get rid of my snow cap.
Right, because
But we will send you a hat if you guess it correctly.
Yep. And also, let us know where you're watching from. Let us know where you're watching from.
Just like this, guys.
Yep, just like that.
It just appeared out of nowhere. That
Just
was
like-
weird.
just like
it
your
like dropped from the sky.
Just like your coffee
yeah,
appears
yeah,
out of nowhere.
It's weird.
Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know what your favorite car has been that you have seen at Mecum Monterey. And of course, let us know what you think is in the black box. We are signing off. Be sure to tune in to our live broadcast on Motor Trend on Max today.
Yep.
And we will see you here tomorrow.